Hello and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions. Your host, Bryan. We're going to wrap up this week's theme of consonant harmony, looking at songs that are just gorgeous and beautiful. Today we're going to be checking out a cover of Stephen Palace's song, The Road Home, this time covered by VOCES8. I don't know anything about anyone here. I've never heard of Stephen Palace before, never heard of VOCES8, and I don't think I've heard the song The Road Home, but there's plenty of stuff I've heard that I didn't know who they were associated with or even the title of the track, so it's always a chance, being a cover of an older song, I might have heard it somewhere along the line. Let's dive into this though and see what VOCES8 is bringing to the table today. Definitely a strong start for Consonant Harmony Week. It's interesting that it looks like they're in a church because there is a hymnic quality to this song. The singularity on as I just being octaves and then splitting out into the chords after that. I wager the acoustics on this track are natural of the room they're in, rather than added in post. They sound phenomenal. Having the top melody be the pedal tone, that was cool. Beautiful song. Absolutely gorgeous and a fantastic pick for this week too. I don't think I have a lot to say on it though. Pretty much probably what I got out of it, you did as well. We have a choir here, completely a cappella. We have no accompanying instruments to it. Oh, looks like there's 8 vocalists. That's where the VOCES8 comes in. So we have 8 parts here. Frequently, though, I will hear that, well, let's start on something else first. music can come in more complex flavors. I think we're all aware of this. But primarily, there's usually more than one thing happening in a track, particularly in the music we listen to on this channel. It may be that there is a chord progression and a melody and a rhythm, and they're all working together to create one work of art, but the drum pattern might not be the exact same rhythmic device as is showing up in the melody. And the melody may not be changing its notes at the same time the chord progression changes. That's not what we get here. This is singular in vision. There are only ever notes sung when there are words or syllables to accompany them, and everybody is singing the exact same set of lyrics. There is a section where we have oohs, vocalizations, and we do have a melody off of that. Everybody sings the exact same melody for the most part. There are places where one group will be singing a quarter note and another will have eighth notes to create a descending pattern. So if we have ooh, someone else might have ooh. So you have a little bit of variation in something like that. But for the most part, everybody is singing the exact same idea. There's a monolithic approach here. So if we're looking at the rhythmic structure, it is a song that primarily focuses around longer held out notes where everybody is in on that. So we don't have too much rhythmic variation in here. The melody, everyone has different pitches, or I'm going to say there's probably 4 parts to this. Maybe 2 people on each roll, maybe only 1 at the highest and lowest, and 3 on the 2 middle ranges. Regardless though, I don't think there's more than 4 individual parts, despite there being 5 musicians here, or 5 vocalists. 8 musicians, 8 vocalists. Only 4 parts is what I heard though. Melodically, everyone's on the same idea here. So what really is driving this song then is harmony. And I think that's where everyone's going to pick up on this, and it's where the parts deviate the most. Some people have low notes, some people have high notes, some people are somewhere in the middle, and the chords that are being played on each of these syllables helps push the song forward, not just through the melodic movement, but also the harmonic movement. They are creating a chord progression through the melody. What I really love about this is the shift from octave to full, more colored chords. Octaves are basically the same note at a higher or a lower pitch. If we get into a science-y direction of it, it is a doubling or a halving of the wavelength, some aspect of the sound wave itself. I don't know the exact science behind it, but as far as describing the pitch itself, we are doubling or halving. Halving. Why can't I pronounce that word? Cutting it in half. Fridays, man. My brain's already checked out, I guess. And it basically makes it so that the 2 notes are going to line up really well. There's going to be very little clashing of them. It is an incredibly stable interval because they're kind of the same note. So these sections feel very singular. Even though we have 3 to 4 different notes here, it just kind of sounds like one note, or it can sound that way. To some people, there's definitely, you can tell there's lower ones and you can tell there's higher ones, but it creates a singularity in the harmonic combination of it all. And I love how some of these lines will start out with the octave stack and then separate out into more colorful chords that introduce more notes to the chordal stack. And it creates these moments of almost clarity before diving into the emotion of it. And I really love that, because in another way, it's a palate cleanse. whatever emotion we were playing with, and particularly this octave note comes in at the octave stack comes in at the beginning of a line, so we have just had a resolution. And instead of jumping in directly into a new chord, well, let's just level everything out for a second. Let's get just a note right here, and then we'll explore from there. And like I said, it kind of acts as a palate cleanse. Whatever emotions you were feeling, you were understanding from the previous chord, and particularly the closure of that chord progression, it's gone now. We're starting clean, wiping the slate, starting over, starting fresh from unity, from singularity. I really enjoyed these moments. I thought that was beautiful. The other side of the harmony though is the chords they're singing. And what are they saying with this? I've mentioned in the past that sometimes metal riffs, particularly ones that like to dance around roots and fifths, sometimes use the tritone, they kind of just end up feeling like metal to me. There's not enough color to them to really give them a distinct feeling. They're just kind of aggressively metal riffs or metal chords. I kind of get that here, but in a different fashion. I'm so used to this sort of sound being associated with hymns. And I think that's because it's built around pentatonic scales and probably a specific form of pentatonic scales. Pentatonic just means that there's only 5 notes in the scale. In the past, I've talked about how scales can have different number of notes, but quite frequently we have 7 in a lot of our scales, major scales, minor scales. I mean, you can have pentatonic versions of those. But in a lot of modern music, we focus around 7-note scales. In this one, we just focus on 5. And I'm going to assume that there's a specific choice of 5 that creates specific intervals that gives it this feeling of awe or reverence. And I associate it so much with hymns. And I don't think that the choice to record the video itself in what looks to be a church, there's definitely an organ in the back. And I think that's, I don't know what the little box is back there, but I think that's an angel on it too. Anyways, the visual elements line up with the way that the song reads to me. There is reverence and awe all throughout this track, and I don't know if that's necessarily something they were aiming for. Maybe that's going to go along with the lyrics, or if it isn't, maybe that's just something I'm reading into it because of my relationship to these chords from a different group or idea. The same reason why some people who have had very little interaction with the Royal Road chord progression outside of anime and Japanese rock music would find any song to use that to have an anime opening aesthetic to it, even though it does. There's a lot of Japanese rock that uses that chord progression. But if that's your only relationship to that progression, that's how you're going to relate it to it, even if it has nothing to do with anime or Japanese rock. It is used in many forms of music, and maybe that's what's going on here too for me. I don't hear this sound too much outside of hymns, so it makes me feel that there's something larger to this song than maybe they're going for. And that makes it difficult for me to, like I said, necessarily have a definitive take on what they're aiming for here. But that is what I get out of it. That is my experience on a first time listen, is that there is some awe, some larger than life component to this music. And that is somehow going to tie into the lyrics. And that's about it for a musical breakdown. This song is just a series of chords that make a melody, and everyone is in on this one melody and like 95% together on this one rhythm. But I can't wrap this up quite yet. I do need to give credit where credit is due. The vocals here are phenomenal. The production is excellent. There's a strong clarity to all of the voices. I love the acoustics of this. As I mentioned, I'm pretty sure this is the acoustics of the room that they recorded in. Something about it feels more natural and less sterile than what you would get if you tried to apply this sort of room reverberance in post. The vocalists all just absolutely gorgeous voices. They sound great together. I love all of this. The performance itself is something, if I had found this on my own, like YouTube front page or something, yeah, I would have fallen in love with this. I would have shared it with everyone. It would be a 1 or 2 time thing for me. Maybe something I come back to every couple of months. It's like, oh yeah, dude, remember that track from VOCES8? Yeah, I gotta check that out again. Maybe not something I spin all the time, but definitely something I probably would be returning to and sharing with a few people, especially as I know quite a few people who love a cappella music. And choir music is, it's adjacent to that. They're definitely in the same field of only using vocalists, though I guess there's a general divide in the overall sound. But yeah, solid stuff. Let's hit some lyrics. As the title states, The Road Home. This is about someone who's feeling lost in their life and needs guidance. They need to go home. Home here is both a place that you can rest and be comfortable, but it's also described as a place where you belong. Anywhere can be home, even if it is not a house. Home is more of a feeling than anything else here. The first verse is the element of being lost. It says, "Where is the road I can call my own, that I left, that I lost so long ago? All these years I have wandered. Where is the road that will lead me home?" Verse 2 talks about this feeling of clarity. It says, "After wind and rain, when the dark is done, I wake from a dream in the gold of day. Through the air there's a calling from far away, a voice I can hear that will lead me home." The first one says, "I've wandered a lot." This one says, "I need help." I really like that. It is a focus on not just the need for help, but a realization of it. That when the wind, rain, and dark is done, so when this person has pulled themselves far enough out to realize they need help, is where they begin to hear the voice that will help them find their way home. And I like that because the first step for getting help is usually accepting that you need help, and this second verse covers that. The third verse is the hard work. It says, "Rise up and follow me. Come away. The call with the love in your heart is, as the only song, there is no such beauty as where you belong. Rise up, follow me. I will lead you home." This is someone who has been lost, has gotten help, has found their home, and is now helping others. Beautiful song right here. It is both quite isolated as the journey of a single person, but also quite universal as well. The narrator could be anyone. Anyone who has had trouble, has gotten help, and has chosen to help others as well. And the others is not a specific you, but a royal you. Anyone who needs help. It's beautiful. It really is. It is not quite as larger than life or full of reverence as I got from the music. So I'm curious if anyone else has a different emotional read on this track. But I do enjoy the music and the lyrical themes, at least separate, even if I don't quite see how they gel, other than just a feeling of uplift that comes throughout this song that I do think matches the lyrics. This is, after all, despite starting out someone not knowing what to do and feeling lost, ends up in a really good place. These are my thoughts then on VOCES8, The Road Home. What did you think? Is there anything in here that you'd like to add on to what I said or correct me on? Do you have your own take, perspective, or opinion on this track? Please let me know. Put all of that and anything else you'd like to add into the comment section below. Above that, in the description box, is a link for Linktree Takes you here, you can find links to my music, ways to support the channel, a link to the Discord server, and so much more. Above that, if you could, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. I greatly appreciate all three of those. That wraps it up for today. I'll be back tomorrow, though, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. UTC as usual. Until next time, remember to be critical, not cynical, of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you choose to watch my videos.